welcome to another edition of After the Whistle, October 25th. We should have wore costumes since we won't have a Halloween show or whatever. I had my I got the Ninja Turtle masks at the house.
Oh, what?
I got all of them.
I seen this burger mask online I wanted to get. Take a whole burger and the mouth opens and the eyes open up. Like,
that sounds pretty cool.
Dope, yeah.
Oh, man, there's a lot going on in the sports world. I'm here, Todd's here.
Yep.
Dwight Howard.
Yeah, what's been going on? You know me, I've been unfollowing a lot of things, so if I see like anything in regards to like Pinkett Smiths or anybody, I just unfollow the whole page.
Remember that whole thing with Dwight Howard and the man, and well, apparently there was more to the story. Apparently, about how Dwight Howard was denying it and stuff like that, but whatever just came out the other day, it was like it actually happened, and then like Dwight Howard brought another person in to that. So like the person that was DMing him that he was going back and forth with, they did indeed meet up, but then when they met up, Dwight brought somebody else.
Yeah, I heard about that. I mean, I've heard of all the allegations before. Yeah. I guess they brought it up, or White denied it. But another person like had like the inside scoop and was like talking about the messages, and it was like, whoa. Yeah. But I mean, everybody know he was a little zesty.
Why are you denying it?
Fancy tickles, and and then you hear about people cracking jokes about him having his his tailbone issues early in his career and things of that nature.
But someone put it right. Just like, why deny it? Just accept it. Just accept who you. I mean, we live in a time where people are accepting of a lot of things. But like, when you're denying it, and then like you.
But he's from a state where like they're known for keeping it on the low. So he might want to be Rey Mysterio in the bedroom, but Dwight Howard in public. I don't know. Like, I don't understand this. Neither do you. So
I don't either. But you gotta live your truth. That's the biggest message I got. Live your truth and don't deny. Especially, you can't deny something when there's like evidence.
And nothing against Rey Mysterio. We ain't saying he like that at all. I'm just saying the mass pot.
Especially when there's evidence, you just can't deny the evidence and then be like, oh, I don't know that person. This never happened.
First of all, why are you saying such wild things on the phone? Like you're texting these things, so
the paper trail crazy.
Yeah, I think all that's corny, keeping texts and all that, and uploading stuff. That's lame. But there are people here that are just trying to get some clout, get some bread. I don't get it. Like, what is he gaining out of this?
Absolutely nothing.
You're just letting the world know that you zesty as well, which is to your prerogative, even though it's not a word. But, to your privilege in life, you pick who you want to be with. But I don't understand what's the whole point of this. Yeah. Like, what are you trying to gain? Were you trying to, like, hoping that Dwight would be like, oh, don't let this out, and then you're going to try to blackmail him and get some bread? Because, see, he ain't paying you for nothing. So, what was the point of this?
All simply could have been avoided if people just lived in their truth.
But what is the point, though? Like, what is he trying to get out of this? Just letting the world know that Dwight likes to, swing a few ways?
Well, he also like the whole he didn't consent to certain things, and there was a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of stuff. Just
for future reference, ask questions. Make sure it's just, you and your partner or whatever, regardless of what y'all doing. Yeah. Just ask more questions, I feel like he didn't ask enough questions.
Ask questions, definitely. I agree. Ask questions.
Just don't bring an extra person somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't ask enough questions. He let that open. Pause.
Left.
The idea. You like the idea of anything being open.
Man, well, we're going to transition to the Patriots, who finally ended their losing streak that was at 4 games. I had a hit. Pats ended their losing streak. Mac Jones actually looked like an NFL quarterback at some point in this game. The thing I say about the Pats in this game, they actually came out with some type of energy. They actually came out looking like they wanted to be out there to play football, because the last couple games they came out there, they looked like they had better things to do than play football. But this one,
I mean, it helped. It helps that, you know, Mac wasn't playing against the best defense of the better teams in the league. So they slip up and let you, you know what I mean, get some scores, get some chances. He outplayed Allen, which is, you know, kudos to him. You know, we've been not talking too negative about him, but kind of like just hoping that he would just be a better just leader, just because he hasn't had the lead. Mm-hmm. So, you know, he's showing that he has the ability to, you know what I mean, put some points on the board, get to the red zone, you know what I mean? Like, for going 25 for 30, 272, 2 touchdowns, no intos, getting to the red zone 5 times, going 3 for 5. That's quality football right there.
You said it best. 0 intos.
Yeah,
no intos. That was the best part about that game. And then also what I liked about this game, well, you know, they've had issues with their offensive line all year. They were getting that ball out of there quick. They were getting it out quick. It wasn't no 5-step dropbacks or none of that. They was just getting that ball out of there quick. Boom, get it to the playmakers. Don't have him dropping back 7 times, because you know once at a certain amount of time he's getting sacked, because he's not the most mobile guy.
I think, too, they were so accustomed to having a quarterback that can kind of do a little bit of everything. They forgot you have to kind of like do some trial and error things with your quarterback to see what he's best at. Yeah. So, you know, early in the year they were talking about it, they go with the no huddle offense, and now you've seen they're not dropping back as far. So I feel like they should have did this earlier in the last year before that. Put him in certain situations, not just assuming that he can just fill in for Brady and just be what Brady was, or kind of play his style of football. But you see that when you figure out your quarterback, you can utilize his skills, and it's paying off, or it paid off this game.
They should have done that when they realized the quarterback doesn't have enough time to actually evaluate the defense, read the defense. So kudos to them. But this Josh Allen thing, man, this dude turns the ball over too much.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. And they start off slow.
Yeah, they start off slow.
I was going to say, the games they lose, I felt like they don't score in the first quarter. The games they've lost.
Oh, yeah, first half is just like they're not there. And
this is one of them games where they let Allen just do what he wants, bro. Remember, there's like 2 or 3 games in the season, they just say, hey, go out there, Allen, just do what you want, because they're playing, I want to say, obviously, not a good team. I don't like talking bad about our Pats, but they're not playing a good team, so they think they can just walk all over them because they're so much better. Yeah. And that didn't happen, especially when Jones outplayed Allen, and then they ran the ball the same amount of times. So this was really about a dual quarterbacks, because the run kind of canceled each other out.
Yeah, and now just the thing with Josh Allen is just like the guy is just always going to turn the ball over, and it's always, well, granted he didn't turn it over late in this game, but he's going to have that first turnover. Kind of that's what gave the Pats that life early on, because he's just so reckless with the ball. Very reckless. And that's why I always say they're not going to win a championship or make it far in the playoffs, because he's just so reckless. I mean, entertaining, he's going to put up the stats, but very, very reckless. Very, very reckless.
Yeah, he has to tighten up.
Yeah.
Definitely got to tighten up.
And stop comparing him to Cam, because he ain't no Cam. We seen Cam lead a bunch of bums to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you really can't compare the two if you haven't even sniffed that Super Bowl grass. Guys, if you win or lose a Super Bowl, you gotta make it there. Yeah. And usually the 2 best quarterbacks who are playing the best, or usually how it goes, make it to the Super Bowl. Yeah. Granted, there are a couple teams that their defenses got them there. Yeah, there's been so I'm not gonna excuse that. You know what I mean? But
I feel like that's like every 5 or 6 years,
but even those quarterbacks are solid enough to get them there, so they're good enough to me.
Yeah. Another game that was highly anticipated, Philly and Miami, which was a little back and forth for a while, but then Miami turnovers, and then they couldn't cover A.J. Brown, and then Philly's run game. Pretty much that was it. Philly's defense stepped up, but they couldn't cover A.J. Brown.
Yeah, Dolphins, going on, what was it, 2-game skid?
I think so.
2-game skid. They were looking like the best team in football. They're still looking like top 5 team. I would definitely say that, but they're relying too much on Tua. they have to go back to valuing his safety. Because, he can take a couple sacks, but remember what he was dealing with last season. The man was almost incoherent a couple games and almost ruined his career. So
they lost their lineman too. I think they've lost two. I think they've lost like 3 linemen.
Next man up. Value the quarterback because he's the only person gonna get you to the promised land.
Yeah, and then he had a terrible turnover too. And I think it was 24-17. They were driving, about to tie it up, and he just floated that ball. That ball was just hanging in the air, and then I think he threw it to like triple coverage or something like that. And then Slade just made a play on the ball. I think that was that right there. I think that's what sealed the game because after that, it was all momentum Philly after that.
Yeah, but I felt like they really didn't play to win though. The plays they were calling, you only run the ball 12 times in the whole entire game.
Yeah, that's true.
That's crazy. Like, what did you expect to get done? Like, granted, they had 3.8 yards per rush to the Eagles, 2.9, but the Eagles still ran the ball 34 times, making you, I want to say, keeping you on your toes. You can't predict what they're going to do with the Dolphins. You kind of know what's going to happen almost every play.
And it's shocking, too, because throughout the first 6 games, they've really been balanced with the run and the pass. So they kind of abandoned that run early, which they didn't need to.
And they were very undisciplined.
Oh, yeah, 10 penalties, right?
10 penalties, the Eagles 0. The Eagles are playing quality football right now. Like, the offense is balanced, defense is solid, and they're not averaging that many penalties a game, I don't think.
Yeah, not at all. So, hey, man, protect the quarterback, protect the ball. That's it. The formula of winning: protect the quarterback, protect the ball. Because you don't do that, you're gonna lose. Especially when you're on the road. You're on the road in Philly too. So.
But, Philly's they're used to this because they've been through this since last year. Yeah. Miami's kind of where Philly was last year. Yeah. So they're still trying to figure it out. They're not used to winning yet.
No, and they're not used to, apparently they're not used to expectations of people. Think
about it. When has a Dolphin had many?
You are correct. Valid point. Valid point.
Right, bro. I was struggling to get that out.
Oh, man. What we got next? We got, San Francisco Purdy. Was a night for you to forget. My man, I tweeted this. Purdy was playing like Kirk Cousins normally plays when they're going against a good team. Because some of those turnovers were just you didn't need to force that. You didn't need to force those. You had enough time, especially on that last drive. It's like you didn't need to force it. You had enough time. You got I think you had maybe one timeout, but you had enough time to get your team in range to try to take a shot at the end zone to win the game. But
this is a sophomore year for him, second year around. Yeah, second year starter. Now teams can really key on what you do, what you're good at, what you're not good at. They desperately need Debo back. Just because they can key on McCaffrey and make it tough for them. They had a slow start. They had a slow game. To be honest, till the fourth quarter when they started, getting some touchdowns. But Cousins was out there going to work. He was balling. But there was just inexperience, and he's never really been put in this position before to actually carry the team because the Vikings. If you were going to beat the Vikings, they were going to make Purdy beat them. Yeah, especially no Debo. Yeah, I think that one of their offensive linemen was down. It was just a weird game for the 49ers. And granted, they still had a chance to win it, but it was just a weird game. I felt like they didn't include Christian McCaffrey enough. I felt like they got away from that. I felt like 49ers got away from a lot of things that they do that help them win. Do you even think Christian McCaffrey is fully healthy? No, he's not fully healthy. So now it's do you think this was semi-exposure? Exposure of Purdy? To kind of give other teams an idea on how to play him just because you need Debo and McCaffrey for Purdy to be himself just because they rely on each other. It's a blueprint.
It's a blueprint, and I always say give teams some time. If they get enough film and data on you, they'll figure out your tendencies or what you like to do, and then it's up to you to adjust to that.
And Purdy's good, don't get me wrong, but I felt it was kind of like a Cinderella-esque story. You know what I mean? And I hope it's not dimming out. I'm hoping he's still a bright star, but you know the NFL is, man.
Yeah, I think what teams are now, they're starting to figure it out with him, some of his tendencies and what he likes to do. Now he's got to counter that. Now he's got to counter that, because now there's 2 games in a row you've seen teams kind of figure out how to get you off your game. So now you have to counter that and just show that I can make adjustments to my game, depending on how the teams play.
Now it's welcome to the NFL, my man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the Cinderella's over. The Cinderella's over. Man, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Ooh, I said, man. Lions don't know what hit them. They literally don't know what hit them, because these boys came out here. They might have still been on a plane, jet lagged or something. But the Ravens were ready for the game, and this is for all the criticism Lamar Jackson gets. I feel like whenever he plays games like this, the criticism, for some reason, it's all those folks that criticize him for like maybe throwing one interception, or just they're not as loud. They're not as loud.
Well, this might have been one of the best games he's played as a Raven. Remember I said, like, the Ravens looked shaky early in the season for me, because I felt like they didn't score enough. I just felt like with all that high-powered talent on the offensive end, you guys don't put up enough. In this game, they did what they're supposed to do. I heard some people on TV saying that, like, this is what happens when, like, the coaching staff that he needed or whatever play calling he needed matches up with his ability. Yeah, and he was out there balling, man.
Yeah, and I also you also might have to also add it to, like, there's some of his star receivers are new. His top receivers, Odell, Zay Flowers, those are new guys, but those are his 2 most targeted receivers, trying to get adjusted to that offense. And it's a new new offensive coordinator. So maybe it was one of those things that they just have to feel out the offense to understand where they fit in or how it works. And maybe they finally made this was the game. It finally came together and they figured out we play like this. This is how.
Seems like Detroit helped them figure it out. Just because, like, who told Goff to throw the ball 53 times? Like, and then Gibbs gets the ball for 11 carries and he scored. Why wouldn't you continue to give him the ball, especially when you only ran the ball 14 times?
We were just praising Goff last week.
Yeah, but you don't know what's crazy, though? It's not even his fault, though. It's the play calling, because think about it. They only rushed the ball 14 times. And they got 6 yards of carry. Meaning you probably should have stayed with the run a little more. But Goff went for 284, but he didn't throw no touchdowns, though. But he was averaging 13 yards a throw, which is crazy.
They blinked and they were down 28-0.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But so he didn't play awful. He just didn't throw no touchdowns. But he was out there. He put them yards up there.
And for offense that's really been in sync, for them to get shut out in the first half and they only put up 6 points, kind of crazy. Is they scored 30 points in 3 out of the six games prior to this one.
Yeah, but they also got to. I don't know what they were doing on the plane. I don't know if they was drinking, playing boo-ray, poker, what? Because how you gonna let Goff get sacked 5 times?
Yeah.
Like, how's he even gonna do anything for you? He's on the ground.
You get sacked, offense isn't moving, you're just not in sync, and then the other side, they look like they were more up for this game than the
couldn't even get down the field. They were 0 for 1 in the red zone to Baltimore was 5 for 6. You should just do us out there. Like, what? Like, come on, man. We gotta at least get down to the red zone at least 4 times, at least once a quarter if you're struggling. But, like, you should be 0 for 4 at least.
Facts. I always say, sometimes this look like one of them games where you just gotta throw the tape away.
Oh, no, it's definitely one of them games.
Throw the tape away.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, lastly, I feel like there've been so many. They've been trying to put people over Mahomes as far as like best in the league, best at the position in the league. And they've been trying to put like other teams ahead of the Chiefs. And then when you look, and it's always like, all right, this dude's putting up another MVP year. The Chiefs are looking like they're gonna be at home again for the playoffs the way they're rolling, and it's kind of like, all right, when are we gonna realize maybe we should stop thinking some of these other quarterbacks have caught up or are better than Mahomes, and just realize this guy hasn't figured it out, and this team hasn't figured it out, and they're playing really well right now, and they're not even playing like the overwhelmingly we're gonna score in 5 seconds. They're like methodically driving down the field and just crushing your hearts now.
Yeah, man. When they lost Hill, I said sometimes less is more. They were gonna figure it out regardless. Andy Reid's a mastermind on the offensive end, just a mastermind coach in general. Mm-hmm. Mahomes, very talented. He's born to throw the football or baseball. He's just born to throw the ball. So I don't. But they do all that just for ratings, something to talk about. Because if people just bow down to Mahomes, the season will be boring. You know what I mean? We don't have much to talk about. So
it sounds like they need a bow down.
But there's always a one quarterback or two that comes around every year that's impressive. That's like, oh, he's showing some bright signs. But there's always a consistent guy that they try to knock off the mountain.
Yeah, like his opposition, Justin Herbert. I don't know what's going on with him, but he went from the hype was like here, and then he kind of was like showing. He was like, oh, everybody was like, oh, okay, oh. They ain't see this coming. And then it's kind of just been like dying down to a point where it's just like, all right, is he just going to be one of those good quarterbacks that puts up good numbers but team will never win? Because that's kind of like the direction his career is going in right now.
How about the last quarterback they had for the Chargers for how many years was he there?
Well, shoot, forever.
So wasn't that the same thing? I think it's just a franchise thing. It's a cultural thing.
Well, the Chargers are a weird franchise. They never play in the normal games. Every game they play in is weird.
That's what I mean. So it's like, some franchises, they only get so far.
Yeah, because you'll look up, you'll be like, they got over 500 yards of total offense. Their defense has forced 3 turnovers. Everything's playing well, yet they lose 35-31. He's like, how in the world did they just lose? And they got all that. And that's the Chargers. They just, I don't know.
I would never bet on them.
Me either. Shoot. Only thing probably could bet on is if they should send them back to San Diego.
They had one of the greatest running backs of all time for them, and he was crying after every season. I'm not making this up. It's on YouTube. You can YouTube it. The man was hurt because why? Like Barry said, it's playing for a franchise where you got high hopes, but there ain't no hope.
Man had an MVP season. They went 14-2, only to lose in the second round of the playoffs.
Bro, that's heartbreaking. I'd cry too. What?
Oh man, that's pretty depressing. That is very
Some
depressing.
Franchises just aren't meant to win in our lifetime for what we see.
Yeah,
I don't know what they did in the past, but it sounded like they was never good.
Yeah. Hey man, I don't know. Like I say, we said last week, Craig's on a cruise, so y'all ain't getting no huddle this week. We might not get it next week. I don't know how long this cruise is.
He's on the cruise, drinking booze. Booze cruise.
So we got our high school football recap with Joey Barrett from the Item. Check this out. And then you'll come back with Games of the Week with Bill Newell. All right, we are back at it. Me, Joey B, is here with us. What we at, week 8? Week 8, right?
Yes, sir.
Finally here, end of the year. The football season flew by.
Flew by. What a great season it's been, right?
And a lot of competitive games. We got a lot of games to recap. Let's recap St. John's Prep and Catholic Memorial since we both were there for that one. Man, what a game in the rain.
Oh, the rain is an understatement. The pouring rain. A back and forth affair. I called it a roller coaster. It really was in that third quarter. 2 of the top teams in the state, maybe the two best. And, Brian St. Pierre said it's how they practice, and that translated to the game. They play in those conditions. They practice defense. They practice all those things that contribute to the mental toughness aspect of it all. So Prep took care of business. What a day for Cam LaGrassa. And I actually asked Brian St. Pierre about Edwin Castro, and he said, he hung in there. He had a tough matchup, and he proved pivotal on the defensive side. So all good news for the Prep.
Definitely, and that game, it looked like it could have teetered either way in that first half, even for a little bit in the second half, because it still was like a one possession game. But yeah, the big play from Cam LaGrassa was really actually the first one from Merrick, the receiver. It was 4th and 19. When he got that touchdown pass, I think that one didn't get talked about as much as it should, but it was 4th and 19 on that one.
I know Cam LaGrassa's performance kind of overshadowed that, but at the end of the day, football is a game of inches, but at the same time, you can get big plays too, and that's exactly what happened Saturday. The 4th and 19, a 75-yard run. So, the Prep. I don't think that's luck though. I think they practiced that, and it comes down to execution, and they did.
Yeah, definitely. And this was one of those games they needed. I think people had questions about how good this team was or how good this team is. They had questions, and they were going to use this game as kind of like the stepping stool to see, are they really that good? And and as Coach St. Pierre said, we're a really good football team, and they showed it. So kudos to them on that. They're the number one team, ranked number 1 right now, undefeated. Other games that we got. Let's go to Thursday. Kip Academy. Man, these guys, they went down there or up there, whichever direction Haverhill is, down there, up there, whatever. They went up there. This was a highly anticipated game. Teams with both identical records, and Kip just overpowered them. Their talent just overwhelmed Whittier Tech.
Two things I love from the Kip game. The first, another road win for the Panthers. I mean, they should really share the secret. How can you win so many road games? And then also, we know Moreno Castro and, a couple of those other guys, Chanel, Gutierrez, they're going to produce, but 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, not from those guys. I believe it was Gonzalez and Echeverra. I could be wrong, but big contributions all the way up and down, and that's what makes a good team great.
And defensively, too, you got to give their defense a lot of credit because they really took that double wing out. Whittier couldn't really get much going, and what I liked about their defense is a lot of open field tackles, a lot of tackles behind the line of scrimmage. They didn't really miss that many tackles. There was just a few times in the game where they busted coverage, but that happened like 1 or 2 times. But besides that, it was sound defensive football by the Panthers.
Maybe it's in the uniforms. I love
the black and pink. I love them. And I forget who I was talking to about this, but Mornell Castro. I told somebody he's a Division I football player. He is a Division I football player. That young man. He's got the speed of a Division I player. He got the athleticism of a Division I player. He's got the IQ of a Division I player, and he got the playmaking ability of a Division I player. I just say, if there's no Division I coaches knocking on Kip's door, inquiring about him, there's a problem because that young man is special.
You said it right. IQ, skill, consistency. I'll also add, and I'm a UMass fan. I hope the Minutemen reach out.
They already got one Kip player over there too. Why not add another? Why not add another one? Kudos to them. They got a big one against Manchester Essex. If they win that one on Saturday, they outright win their conference. But if they lose, it'll be a 3-way. It might be a 3-way or a 2-way tie. But that one should be a good one because their opponent is a really good opponent, Manchester Essex. Then we gotta go St. Mary's. Man, these guys, they just pulling out these tight games each week. Each week they're showing their maturity as a football team, and each week I'm more impressed with Maxwell Parent.
Oh, he's a star already, and like you said, they keep squeezing out these close games. That could be a coincidence once or twice, right? But once you start doing it 3, 4, 5 times, it's not luck at this point. St. Mary's is well coached. They have the right philosophies over there. So the Spartans are rebuilding in a way, but also just, what are they, 5-2? 5-2?
Oh yeah, 5-2, 5-2, 5-2, I believe. Yeah.
So St. Mary is on a roll.
doing it, and they're doing it at a time in the season where you have to position yourself for the postseason, because you are going to be in these tight games at some point in the postseason, depending how further along you go each round. You're going to get into these tight games, and they've already shown they've got a knack for closing out games or just pulling out victories, and it could be a tight game or it could be a big blowout. So signs of
how young they are.
Signs of a team that knows how to win.
Absolutely, especially with how young they are, and I'm excited to see them tomorrow night for some Thursday night football. But I'm also excited to see them for the next 2 or 3 years too, because they're young.
And we're going to Lynn Classical. It was ugly out there. It was scoreless at halftime, but the Rams were able to pull it off. They got the 12-0 victory, setting themselves up for a huge matchup with Everett this Friday. But yeah, that rain was something else. I can understand why it was a 12-0 game in that weather.
I know it can be frustrating for both sides because you can't play the type of offense that you want to, especially Classical with its passing attack is really how the Rams thrive. But it came down to execution and who was going to step up, whether rain or shine. And it was Fassler and Vaughn. So Classical's deep, and they were the winning team.
And there are a lot of injuries, too. I think they had a couple injuries in their backfield, which caused Fassler to go at running back.
Yeah, and clearly he had no problem adjusting.
They pretty much we've been talking about it for the last couple weeks. This matchup with Everett is such a big matchup. This is for the GBL championship. I think the last time I looked at the rankings, they were at 18 or 19, I believe. So they got to win this one. They got to win this one to give themselves a chance to be one of those 16 teams in there. So it's I'll be there actually. Will you be? You going to go to that one?
My fellow reporter, Mark Aboyan, will be there. And I will say this about the Classical Everett game. I'm not going to pick who's winning yet. You'll have to read the football predictions in the paper first. But I think it's going to be a one-possession game.
The early predictions, one-possession game. All right, next up we got Lynn English. Lynn English went on the road. They got themselves a much-needed victory following the loss to Malden, I believe. Yeah, following the loss to Malden, they went on the road. Lambert Thomas, 3 touchdowns. English defense holding Somerville to 6 points. It was just a team that needed to win, especially when you're coming down to this part of the season. You need to win because you don't want to close out in a bad way.
No, especially against the team that you beat last season. And like you mentioned, Lambert Thomas, multiple touchdowns. One was kind of a burst on a counter left where he got through a hole and just booked it. And then another one was kind of a 3-yard push. So he shows the speed, he shows the strength. Lambert Thomas is a real strong player here in the city of Lynn. And, Coach Anthony LaFrada told me it probably shouldn't have been as close as it was, but a win's a win. And what are you going to do? A win's a win, in my opinion.
Especially you're getting ready for senior night. Just get them guys. You get a win. You're feeling good coming into the week, and have a good week of practice for the next game. So it's just good for those guys to get that win going into senior night this Friday. But yeah, also Lambert, as far as the speed, I was teasing him about it. Because he had a big run, could have had like a 90-yard touchdown run, or it was like 90 or 95-yard, and he got caught at the 5-yard line. I had to tease him about that because I'm like, man,
he did get caught on a 5-yard run. And then also, this is the second season in a row where the Bulldogs just haven't folded late in the season, and they pick up late season wins. So I like what they're doing over there, and it's going to take some time.
I will say this. It is easy to quit when things aren't going your way. And it is easy to just, be like, all right, our season's not going the way we want to. We could just pack it in. You can mentally check yourself out. But for all those guys at English, all those players, they haven't checked out. They still go out there and play hard, and they don't quit. So that's the biggest thing you could take away from them. You can't judge. You can't question their character or their heart or their willing to play, because there's a lot of players, if things were going the way it's going for them, that would quit and give up. and just pack it in. But these guys have not. So they set themselves up to have a good senior night this Friday against Medford. And then last but not least, man, it was a tough one for Lynn Tech. I think the city almost went 5-0 last week as far as games, but Tech, they just fell behind early. They dug themselves a deep hole, 29-0 at the half, and they came out in the second half with a lot more energy, playing a lot smarter football, and they were able to get it down to a 2-score game, and then able to had a few opportunities to get it down to a 1-score game. But so it was just one of those situations where you dug yourself into too deep of a hole.
Yeah, Coach Runner, James Runner, was joking with me post game that he was very angry at halftime, raising his voice, and after the game he was all smiles because he liked the resilience from his team. His players never quit, touchdown after touchdown, and they caused a turnover or 2 or 3. So my headline read that Tech's heart was never in question, and I think that's right. Ortega had another strong game. Ethan Prum played. He was probably the player of the game on Tech side, and nearly a 5-0 week. But again, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it was because I watching that game, and then I was like watching the film, just like it just was one of those things where I don't know, nothing was going right for them in the first half. I think it had a lot to do with that fumble on their first drive, or that bad snap that caused the turnover on their first drive when they were driving down the field. I think that took a lot of their energy out, and then after that, everything didn't go as planned for them in that first half. But yeah, it was the first half they'd like to forget.
I hate to say it, but it's one of those where if there was another quarter of that game, you never know.
But it got interesting though. It got interesting. They forced 2 turnovers that were able to get them in the game, and then the last turnover they forced gave them the opportunity to try to get it to a 1-score game. And I think they had all their timeouts, or they might have had 1 timeout at the game. So it could have been interesting if they were able to get that score, but they didn't. So they'll look to bounce back. I believe it's senior night for them as well this weekend, this Saturday when they host Whittier Tech. So hopefully they bounce back and just close the season out with a strong win, and maybe we can hope they get in the postseason. But yeah, that first half, man. Oh man. Where will you be this week?
I will be at the St. Mary's game, and then we will be at Classical versus Everett. We will be at KIPP on Saturday. All
right. Yeah, I'll see you there. I'll be at Everett on Friday. I'll be there Thursday at St. Mary's. I think I'm gonna try to find somebody to get the English game for me for Friday. But Saturday I'll be there for the doubleheader.
Perfect. We'll be there, and thank you so much for having me another week, as always.
Articles you got up this week?
Man, we've got some previews. We got game stories. We've got predictions. Stay tuned for Player of the Week and Team of the Week. It'll definitely be Monday and Tuesday, but watch out and try to predict from games this weekend. So that's a little bit of what's coming. itemlive.com or the Item every day but Sunday.
We need to get like a item program here, like with Joey B with a high school football program or something like that. I ain't like that.
You'll get them. We got the Item Thanksgiving handouts coming up.
Oh, okay. I like the sound of that one. All righty, that's Joey B. Hey, see you guys. All right, and we are back. All right, we got games of the week. All right, regular season. Well, I mean, this is the last week of high school football games for the regular season. Playoffs start next week. There's a lot of playoff implicating games. A lot of teams need to win to have a chance to actually get into postseason.
What's the criteria?
I don't know. I just saw a team. I saw Everett team that's really good. I saw their record. I think they've lost 1 game. I think it's 1 game they've lost. And they got them at 16 in their division.
Bro, like.
So, that's it. So they got them just getting in right now. So, I don't know the criteria, but check this out. All right, and we are here joined by Bill. We had a great week last week of some games, and now we're going to talk about it's a season finale already before the playoffs.
I know, unbelievable here. We're at the end of the so-called regular season. I'm old. It used to happen on Thanksgiving,
right?
But now it's different. But whatever. I get it. Got to change with the times. Yeah. So what are we here to talk about? The game of the week coming up here?
Yeah, we got some games of the week. Well, we'll talk about the prep game real quick before we get into all that. I know your biggest question going into that game was you wanted to see how good St. John's prep was because of like some of the games they played and some of the teams they played. And yeah, they've shown they're really good football team, and they slowed down. They slowed down an offense that was putting up a lot of points.
It's I asked that question, and I thought it could go at both ends of the football against a team like CM. You're concerned about your defense, you're concerned about your offense, but I mean, I think they did things offensively that were so good on the running game. It's unbelievable how with the oh my God,
the jumbo package.
Yeah, well, they got that package, but anyways, the running attack was unbelievable, and then the defense was also unbelievably great. And so on top of that, and their game planning, which you had pulled out in your post game interview with Coach St. Pierre after the game, nailed that as well. So they schemed it, they planned it, they executed it, and now I looked at the D1 MIA rankings that are out this week, the latest ones, and they're number one. That's not a surprise necessarily, but here they are. They're back. They're in the driver's seat after this weekend. There's no doubt about it.
And they're definitely. And he told me, I think after the LaSalle game, he told me once they get onto October, that's when he wants to see how they've improved, and this is when they should be playing their best football, and they're definitely playing their best football. The one thing they did do, they gave up one big play. They gave up that one big play in that game, but the young quarterback for Catholic Memorial, he really couldn't get nothing going. They were all over him. And considering how good of an offensive line Catholic Memorial has, the prep front seven really got to him and didn't make it anything easy for him, or they didn't make him comfortable at all into trying to find his receivers. The one time they did protect him, they got that big pass play, but besides that, it was a tough outing for that offensive line for Catholic Memorial.
Yeah, they did things that they needed to. They won places where they won, they needed to win. And I always look at a team like CM or some of these other teams. You figure teams that can score on big plays, then you think, well, you've got to get more than 2 touchdowns to beat them. Mm-hmm. And that's really what happened for St. John's Prep. They got the additional touchdowns, and they had, but CM could have picked up more. Could have got another score. I think here that wouldn't have been out of the question. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, it was a game that I don't think a lot of people saw coming from St. John's Prep, because they did play their best game of the year. They put it all together, mm-hmm. and to their credit, fantastic effort by them. And they're, like I said, they're now in the D1 driver's seat, I think, and that's a little turn. I think I think it was kind of more wide open, a week or so ago, but maybe not so much right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they're much more complete team than they were at this point last year. I mean, last year's team, they became complete when the playoff rolled around. This year's team, they're more complete. They've been more consistent the entire season. Last year's team, they picked up their stride late in the season.
They got to be careful, though. They're playing a top BC team this Saturday on the road. They're ranked number 7 in the MIAA rankings in D1 BC High. So they got to be careful about that one, coming off a huge win like they did. But, I haven't paid much attention at all to the rankings until just this week. I just started to look at a few of them today, to be quite honest with you, because I think this is now when it becomes important, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of great games this week with a lot of implications for the postseason that we got. First off, what do you have?
Well, I'll just start with the. I know you've got some other ones, but I'm with you on all of them. But Danvers at Marblehead. I'll make it sweet and short. I mean, these two teams have battled over the years. Marblehead has gotten the better of Danvers over the years, but this is Danvers' team that's won 5 straight. Marblehead's won 2 straight, and they're, believe it or not, they're shooting for a league title between these two teams here on Friday night in Marblehead. So there's a lot on the line for this game. And so it's almost like a pick 'em, to be quite honest with you. But Marblehead, there's another team. Marblehead still looking to play much better football than they did to start the season. And maybe they're on their way to doing that. And they're a very dangerous team.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that because they've had this season is not going like it's been going the past couple of years with the slow start they've had this season. How have they been able to just pick it up the last 2 games or so that they've been winning?
Well, I think the schedule's probably helped them a little bit, but on the other hand, take nothing away from them. I think that they're getting stronger. They've had a lot of injuries. They've moved a lot of players around this year, and so they could be getting healthy, and they're at home, and believe it or not, like what are they, 2-4 overall? But those 2 wins are in the league, and they're 2-0 in the league, so they're shooting for a league title. So if they're not pumped up this Friday night, then I don't believe that they won't be. But both teams are very pumped up and looking forward to this game.
Yeah, well, the game. I have a couple games circled, but the first one, Lynn Classical going to Everett. This game, and I just looked at as you said, you looked at the rankings today. I looked at them today too, and I saw Everett was at 16. I think Classical is down to 18 or 19. So this game has heavy implications for both teams. If Everett loses, then there's a possibility they might not be playing in the postseason. Classical has to get this win if they want to even have a chance to get into the postseason, because those 2 losses to Peabody and Salem hurt them in the rankings. But this one, if they're able to go on the road and get this game, this will give them a chance to get probably either 16 or 15. But it's going to be interesting what will happen if they'll move them up if they are able to pull it off.
Yeah, it's hard for me to speak to that game having not seen Everett. Having seen Classical, though, I like Classical. I think they're a good football team. They probably feel they have better football ahead of them from even the games that they've played.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this team could have had, well, at least one more win for sure this year, and they played Peabody tough, as we've talked about before, I think, when they played over there earlier this season. But obviously this is a tough task for them playing at Everett. Everett's still pretty solid football team over there. And they got that has league title implications too, I believe. But
yeah,
I'm not
this is for the GBL.
Sure yeah.
This is for the GBL.
Right.
This is for the GBL. I'll say about this about Everett. They don't have the overwhelming talent they normally have, but they still have talent. The talent is still there. They still got players. They got a kid who's committed to Boston College who they use all over the place on offense. They got some other young players. They got some other players that are pretty good and fast themselves. So this is one of those games. It might be one of those games Classical got to keep up with the scoring, because one thing that Everett's been doing, they have been scoring the football. So Classical got to be able to keep up with the scoring.
And there's one thing Classical can do. They can score. They can score. Yeah. So how about Peabody at Salem?
Peabody at Salem. That's another one. Salem, I know they just let one slip away against Winthrop. They had that game. They were up 13-0. They're up 19-13 with about a minute left. It's I don't know if it was 4th down or 3rd down, but it was a minute and some change left, and a breakdown in coverage to give up the big play, and Winthrop was able to escape with the 2019 victory. Meanwhile, Peabody, on the other hand, they've just been steamrolling everybody. They've been on a roll. Another big big victory over Gloucester last Friday. And the thing Salem needs to do, they got to find a way to contain Batista. That's been the guy that's been wrecking shop for Peabody. And if Salem wants a chance to come out with the victory on the road for that one, they got to find a way to contain Batista.
I was at that Salem-Winthrop game, and I'll tell you, Salem had their chances to put the game away late in that 4th quarter. You mentioned the 3rd down, the 3rd and 2, then they had a 4th and 2, and they ended up turning the ball over on downs to Winthrop. Then 2 plays later, Winthrop goes 81 yards for the screen pass and touchdown. To Winthrop's credit, they're a good team. Winthrop's a good team. And, I've seen them win twice this year. I've seen them lose twice this year. And that game looked like it was going to be a loss, but they were very competitive in that game. But, Salem had been moving the ball well at different times during the game. And Winthrop just came up and made the plays on that 3rd and 2, the 4th and 2 late with about a couple of minutes left in the game. And they were down at the Winthrop 20. Right down in the red zone, and they couldn't get it done. So, I mean, that, forget the 81-yard pass, that's a killer in itself. So, but they had a chance to win it and kind of keep the clock going and maybe put another score in. They were looking to make it a 2-score game in their favor. And then they all of a sudden, a minute later, they're going to lose the game. So it's just a crazy turn of events there. And I think Salem, had to rebound. They'll have to rebound out after that. But I'm pretty sure that this is a pretty good group of kids in Salem. Not that the Peabody kids aren't either, but I think we should have a great game on Friday night.
Yeah, definitely. And then the last one I have Manchester Essex Kip Academy. This is another one conference. This is for the league conference. So if Manchester Essex wins this game, they'll have a three-way tie for the conference between Kip Academy, Manchester Essex, and Whittier Tech. If Whittier Tech defeats Lynn Tech. But if Kip Academy wins, then they outright wins the conference. And last I checked, they were number 3 in the division, in their respective division, I believe, in the rankings.
Well, Kip has won the big games during the course of the year, and we started off talking about how you got some championship games coming up this week, and this is like another one, right? And so, I mean, Kip has answered the bell every time that it's happened for them this year. So. You wondered whether this team could reload and come back, and it looks like they have. But, I mean, that's a great matchup, Manchester Essex at Kip, and that's Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and Manchester Essex, a high-powered offense too. So we have 2 high-powered offensive teams going at it, and I think the last couple of times these 2 teams got together, it's been pretty entertaining. What I will say about Kip, about this year's Kip team, a lot more complete team than last year's team, which is a surprising thing to say with all the talent that they had last year. But this year's team is a lot more complete for, I don't know what, but it's just a lot more complete.
No, what you're saying is last year's team, I think this is what you're saying. Last year's team had several outstanding athletes that when you get them one-on-one with a defender in these situations, they were going to win those battles because they were so good. This year, they still have some good players, but they also have they can complement it better. The line probably is a lot better this year than it was a year ago, and that's huge for anything. So, and I think it's the same way kind of with the Prep. I mean, the Prep had some standout players a year ago. They're more of a complete team right now, it looks right now. Yeah. And they had to run last Saturday. I don't know why I'm drifting back to that game, but they probably could have passed too, depending on what they were being given. So, you're right about Kip. And unfortunately, I don't know a lot about Manchester Essex this year, but I know that, they've obviously had a great, very competitive season themselves.
I just know they put up 63 points in a game. So any team that puts up 63 points in a game, you gotta definitely have to keep an eye on them. Which games will you be covering this week?
Well, I think I'll go to the St. Mary's game on Thursday night at Manning Field as they play host to Archbishop Williams, and then at the Marblehead Danvers game on Friday night. I would consider going to the Salem game, but it's Halloween weekend in Salem, so I may, I could backpack up there maybe. You know what I'm saying?
The game's in Peabody.
I think it's in Salem.
In Salem?
Yeah, I have it in Salem.
Okay.
But, yeah. So, and there's always been over the years that magic about playing Salem on Halloween weekend or leading up to Halloween. So you never know. Maybe there's something happening. Maybe there's some powers going on, some witches flying overhead and casting some spells or whatever. So Peabody better watch it with those spells. I'm telling you, that's what I got.
And if Salem wins, it'll be a tie, correct? For the
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, right. You're right. Because they're both in that. Oh man, I don't have my other sheet with me here. Salem might be in that other division. Yeah. No, Peabody's in. Yeah, they're both down in their division. You're right. No, you're right. You got it. Yeah, they're both in that lower division or that second division. Yeah.
All right. All right, it's gonna be a fun way to end the year before we get ready to play for the playoffs next week when those rankings come out.
I got to ask you quickly, where are you going to be this weekend?
I'll be St. Mary's, and I'll be at St. Mary for the St. Mary's game. I'll be Friday. I'm going to Everett. I'll be there for the class.
Oh, great!
Yeah, I'll be there, and then I'll be at Manning for the doubleheader. I was gonna go to the BC High St. John's prep game, but it's senior night for Kip, senior day I should say for Kip. So I'll be there for that, and then Tech will be right after that.
You got some senior nights coming up too. You're right. All right. Well, great talking with you. Yeah.
Likewise. Oh, you plug in the website, social media.
Yeah. Thank you. It's MSONewsports.com, MSONewsports.com. And we have interviews up there with different coaches. We have some features. Just did a feature with some St. Mary's players that will be up, I guess, by Wednesday for sure, with players and Coach Sean Driscoll and so on. They've had a nice turnaround season, by the way. Young team, 5-2 right now. Give them a lot of credit.
Maxwell Parent, Rookie of the Year. All right, that is Mr. Bill Newell. You guys, thank you once again, sir, for coming on. Appreciate it.
You got it.
We'll chat with everybody later. All right, and we are back. Okay, last night, NBA opening night, ring ceremony and all that. I don't get it. Why this shit?
What's up?
Man, I don't know. I was thinking, man, the champs should get the nightcap game.
Yeah.
Because they are the champs, so instead of getting instead of them being the matinee, they had the first game of the evening, but whatever.
But you know how it goes. They the champs of last season. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're just getting them out the way. I think they should have superiority off of who gets to play, but maybe they want the earlier game.
Maybe. You're right, but probably.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But it was, I mean, they picked up right where they left off. They built an 18-point lead. Lakers tried to cut it down, but I just think it's just so hard to beat a team where not only Jokic is your best player, but forget Jamal Murray. Your third and fourth options are two 6'10" guys who could both put the ball on the floor, and Aaron Gordon now got a decent three-point shot who he can knock him down. That's a problem.
Yeah, it is. Ain't nothing else I can say about that.
And then when you got AD not scoring in the second half at all, at all.
Hey, at least he played. His goal is to play 82 games, right? Number one is checked off. But yeah, he got to produce. I don't know what he's doing, all that lifting weights and all that stuff they were showing him during the summertime, working out. But it's only game one.
Yeah,
man,
even if you don't produce, if you don't score, do something that helps score, for other teams. It was just he wasn't even trying to put himself in a position oh, maybe if I do this, somebody will double team me, I can kick it out to somebody else. It was weird.
Sometimes you might have to watch that old Kentucky Davis that was doing anything other than just scoring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then I feel like the Lakers also had with these new guys, I feel like a lot of them weren't really too sure. Cam Reddish got in there. He looked like he was lost out there. Austin Reeves, he didn't look like himself out there. A lot of those guys. Russell was hit a couple shots, but he looked like the same guy that they couldn't play in any of the fourth quarters in the playoffs.
Well, hopefully it was just first game jitters, because I feel like no matter what level you play on, you always get a little bit of jitters when you start the season out or start your first game wherever you're playing at. So I think that might just been it. But you know what I told you the other day, they should never got rid of Monk, man.
Yeah.
Monk is just a bucket. He's hard to cover. He makes free throws. He does everything.
Yeah.
Does everything.
The funniest thing about this is that the guy who was partying all summer came in there and just dropped a triple-double like nothing, just up there at the office, which is hilarious because they asked him what was he doing all summer. He's just like, yeah, I lifted weights. I ain't touching basketball for like a couple months, but it was just weights. But I feel like when you're that big, it's. Yeah.
I'm sure he trained a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably did some things, but he wasn't playing like at that level. You know what I mean? But yeah, you got to stay in shape. And that's what you do, huh?
He was gambling them horses.
Yeah, but nah, he's a hooper. He was hooping.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let him lie to you.
I mean, it's a time difference over here than in Serbia, so he was probably playing when the sun wasn't up yet.
What are you doing your off time?
Yeah.
Go raise horses. Go get caught on camera in my off time. You know what I mean? Like, and tell people I ain't doing nothing all summer. Like, of course he's working out.
That man was having a ball all summer. He enjoyed his time.
He don't got the type of body you can just sit around for 2 months and do nothing.
No.
So like you gotta run, hit the bike, swim. Like, oh, cut it out, my man.
Nightcap. The nightcap game was the Suns and Warriors, and I feel like this was just one of them games. New players on each team. It was a pretty entertaining game though. But the Warriors do what they always do. Is like they have that crazy third quarter, and then then everything just comes back to reality in the fourth quarter. It's just like I don't understand them. It's just every time it's the third quarter. They just go off in the third quarter. I don't get that.
I mean, I coached a team that our worst quarter was the third quarter. And you witnessed it many a nights. We never understood why they just could never score the third quarter, bro. It might be 2 points, 4 points. It's like, yo. So then we finally conquered that. So it's just a thing for some teams, I guess. I guess that rest and getting your second win, I guess, and come back out there.
Yeah. It's very weird. It's very weird. It was very. But I didn't like what I see. I mean, it looked like Devin Booker's going to be the guy that's going to stare them during the regular season before the other guys, Durant and Beal come in and all that.
He's a dual threat. He can play the point. He's solid at the point guard position, and what he does at the two guard position. So I don't really want KD at the point. He's too much of a sniper to really have to think about other people, and I don't even think Bradley Beal even really plays the point at all. So
sporadically, but consistently, no.
So Booker can do both. So they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, and then I'm looking at their roster, some of the folks that they have there, and I'm just like, I mean, there's not really nobody else that they could put the ball in their hands and be like, could take control of the offense, lead the offense. Just looking at you gonna trust Grayson Allen to be a point guard?
Yeah, I mean, they might bring somebody else in throughout the season because you're gonna need another ball handler.
Yeah, definitely. But Celtics play tonight. They got the Knicks. Wemby plays tonight. That's what everybody's waiting to see. This Celtics. I want to see what the Knicks. You see what the Knicks trying to do? Well, I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but allegedly they're looking to try to get Embiid. But I don't be like, okay, he's just gonna go from one crazy market to an even crazier market.
From one state to another state, like legit, like right next door to each other.
It's not even like an hour drive.
I mean, did they ever ask him how he'd feel, like where he want to go? Because I'm thinking he might want to go to the West Coast.
Something warm.
Being in Philly for so long, I'm not trying to play for New York.
We'll try to go to Phoenix.
It's like you're based in the same state. Just, you know what I mean? Like language a little different, a little more to do in New York, but like same weather. No different, no difference.
Same crazy people.
There's no big difference. So if I was him, I'd want to go to the West Coast, especially spending all that time in Philly or down south.
And it just feels like Philly right now is just a mess of a franchise right now, especially with this whole James Harden thing, him showing up, not showing up. Is he gonna play? Is he not gonna play?
He told me he can't travel with him. I don't understand. Like, this is looking like very childish and petty.
It's a hot mess, but nigga kick rocks. All right, sports update. First up, the Aces, they repeated as WNBA champs. Yeah, when you left last week, me and Stevie was talking about it. Stevie thought it was gonna go 5 games, and he thought they was gonna force a 5th game just because.
Why would he think that?
Because of the way they played the last game. The game before that.
Yeah,
but I told her, and then I was like, I think Asia Wilson's gonna just take over this game and win in. And she did, and the MVP of the league was just no-show. I mean, a no-show at all. Like, that was a bad look. Now, to talk about how they want they want to be treated as the men's league, and you know how the same thing. I mean, I feel like the criticism too they should take them criticism as well.
Yeah, you gotta take everything. You can't take the good and the bad.
Yeah, especially Breonna Stewart. Like, you the MVP, you supposed to show up.
Ain't no excuse for that.
You can't have a sticker.
Yeah, I mean, they took the MVP from our homegirl and gave it to you, and you didn't even put up no numbers in the finals. Granted, you know, shout out to Becky Hammond, just because we talked about this a couple years ago when they was talking about her bringing her in to be a coach of an NBA team. And I'm like, why don't they help improve the WNBA and win some championships, help improve some franchises? And she's actually doing that. Yeah. So that's dope. That's dope. But they need better coaches around the whole entire league, just to build a better product. Because once again, we might have a whole, we might have another Houston Comets situation, Minnesota Lynx type deal, when you got the franchise, the expansion team is the best team in the league. It has like a dynasty. Because I think the Comets won 3 or 4, and then the Lynx won how many? 3 or 4?
I think, somewhere around there.
But they won like a couple back-to-backs, and they got the #1 draft pick for like 4 or 5 years straight because they weren't anything and then turned it around. And so, you know what I mean? I think Las Vegas is on their way because your third option is one of the best point guards in the league.
And it's like, and it's Vegas. They're in Vegas.
So it's looking like they might
Yeah. So congratulations to that. All right, we got a World Series matchup. We have Arizona taking on the Texas Rangers. Both teams winning in Game 7s. I mean, Texas, they put up they went on a run streak against Houston to actually keep themselves alive, and then went down to Houston to win Game 7. Arizona, it looked like it was over for them, but they were able to pull it off, win a Game 6, and then Game 7, they were able to do it. So this is the first time in a while where it's not the Los Angeles Dodgers or the Houston Astros in the World Series. So congratulations to both of them in two markets that really people don't pay attention to like that either. So.
Nah, I think the Diamondbacks ain't been good since we was in like high school. You might have been in middle school.
2001?
Yeah, see, I was in high school. You know what I mean? And the Rangers, I mean, everybody know the Rangers just because, like, I mean, if you're born in the 80s, the early 90s, you know about Texas Ranger, you know, Chuck Norris. You just know about the Rangers, like, you know what I mean? But now, kudos to them. Great places to play baseball, so it's just still nice out.
Right. Yeah, a little too hot in both states, but better than up here.
You can go hang out outside after.
Right.
Granted, it's warm out here today, but it ain't been like that in the past.
Yeah. All right. Did you see this Michigan and this sign stealing stuff?
Yeah, I rolled my eyes.
I don't get it.
I rolled my eyes.
Yeah,
bro.
I don't get why people do it.
I mean,
someone said it best. Change your signs if somebody could easily just steal them.
We had the same conversation about baseball, and you're going to have people that say, it's the integrity of the game. Well, unfortunately, I play a sport that has no integrity. So, like, we know everything you're going to do. We know what you're calling. You got to outthink us. So, unfortunately, I don't have no sympathy for none of this.
And I feel like this is just a Jim Harbaugh thing. I feel like there's a lot of people in college football that don't like Jim Harbaugh for whatever reason, and I feel like they find him.
He's the white deal. You didn't know? You did not know? Think about it. When he got to Michigan, he was getting the same microscope praise that Deion was getting. But granted, no rappers were coming to him because he ain't got that swag like that. But now that Deion here, you better hear about him now. Like, because he's been there, 5 years now?
Yeah.
But his recruits are in here now. And they're the top, one of the top teams in the country. So he's the white Deion. Everybody know that.
And then also, I think he served like a 3-game suspension earlier.
He pulled Jim Boeheim. He spent himself like.
But what was it for? Like buying burgers or something like that? I think it was for something stupid though.
There's always something stupid. That's what the NCAA stands for. Punishing your ass for something stupid.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just kind of they were stealing signs, okay, but you know, when they're outscoring you or when your quarterback is turning the ball over and you know his defense is that just not them having a better team than you, or you other teams are just not doing what you're supposed to do to win?
Don't they watch film? So when you watch film and you're looking at the view from the guys in the booth, and you see the whole entire sideline, whose fault is that?
I just think, it's the dumbest thing in the world. They're trying to make this a big deal. It's cheating.
And why would you keep your sides the same anyways? You should always want to keep the team on its toes. You know what I mean? Like,
you're supposed to change it throughout the game. Or do like some other teams do with the posters. They got all these different posters and stuff like that. And so, like, only you can understand them. But
remember, they made it so it's like allowed to cry if you don't get your way nowadays, man. So, like, coaches, be better. Teach these young men how to be men. Don't be crying because you're taking L's. Just take your L and move on, loser.
Facts. All right. Pedro, what we got for boxing?
Well,
Haney about to get a whooping.
well, that's not on the line. But we got Tyson Fury. It's going to be a matchup somewhere in the Middle East.
They're fighting in the Middle East. Hot damn.
Hot damn is right.
It's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, there's like some places in the world that I wouldn't want to do certain things, and the Middle East is one of them because there's like too many laws, too many rules, and
yeah, man, you spit on the sidewalk, you get arrested.
Right? I mean, Fury and Nana, we got UFC and we got actual boxing. This should be entertaining, but
You have been to Dubai?
Nope.
Good time.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I've heard. Oh yeah, you're right, Pete. This should be This should be an interesting fight.
Are they
Very
wearing that to the
interesting.
ring?
I hope they wear that to the ring.
I mean, they might have a wilder situation. They don't have no weak knees.
And this is Nana's first actual boxing match, right?
I think it's more for the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
I wouldn't buy that fight anyway, but yeah.
I'm not buying it either, but I'm going to watch it.
We got Amanda Serrano. She's promoted by one of the Paul brothers.
Okay.
But here's the thing: they're fighting a 3-minute rounds for the first time.
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Okay.
She's putting her undisputed championship on the line.
Well, anytime I hear someone putting their belts on the line, I just know they ain't no punk.
Oh, I was going to say, they need to go fight. You need to go fight Carissa. So she'll explain it all to you. I'm just saying, want something exciting.
Oh man, and that is our boxing update. Let me just check something and see if there's any other random sporting news that just came up. The Eagles traded for an all-pro safety from the Titans, Kevin Byard. They just traded for him, and I just be like, how in the world are they always pulling these off? But
It's the NFL. But
kudos to them.
Isn't what's his name gonna be fighting soon or in a couple months? Haney.
Well, that's sometime in December 9th.
Yep, December 9th. He about to get the brakes beat off him.
A pay-per-view fight. I don't know why, but I don't know how. But
I mean, he got the belts. That's why.
but I mean, come on.
And homeboy nice though.
Yeah, but he's not known like that yet.
Nah, he ain't. He will be.
November 16th.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody finally isn't scared to fight him.
About time.
Right?
Jesus.
Got that man just chilling.
This was a Dominican dude, Carlos Santos, by the way.
Man, the whole boxing world getting bullied by men with dimples. I'd love to see it.
Oh man! All right, what we got now? we got interviews, players and coaches interviews time. All right, we got Kip Academy head coach Jim Rabbit. We got Neshoba Valley head coach Dan Kelly. Shout out to Dan Kelly too, because after the game he told me he's been waiting for one of these post game interviews.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Shout out to him.
That's
Shout
dope,
out to him. We got Coach Brian St. Pierre from St. John's Prep. Then we got Murphy Senecal from Neshoba, Cam LaGrassa, from St. John's Prep, and then Chanel Gutierrez and Mornell Castro from Kip Academy. So check these out, and then we're going to come back with our highlights. All right, Coach, that first half, it was sound football all around. Shut them out, put up 29 points. What was working?
So honestly, we just knew we wanted to go to the ground and pound, and that's just kind of what we like to do. We like to grind. We like to really run the ball. We have a lot of tough runners. First time we've had that double wing backfield back since week 1, and a lot of people didn't know that. So, we were really looking to just execute, and I think the guys did a great job in the first half of just holding on to the football, doing a good job, and running the ball.
What did you guys do to take them out of their rhythm offensively? They like to pound that ball as well, but you guys really made it difficult for them. It seemed like they couldn't get nothing going in that first half.
Yeah, honestly, in the first half, we just knew we had to play up in the box. We got a big turnover there. They had a lot of momentum there on that first drive, and we don't get a lot of breaks, so we were happy to get a break there, and then it helped us settle in. And you can ride off of momentum, which is what I've seen happen, but we were able to just kind of make stops, continue to make plays. These guys work really hard and watch a lot of film.
That stretch of this was one more regular season game. Just how you like the progress of your team, and how do you like the fight that these guys have shown you the last couple of weeks?
Oh, absolutely. To be 4-3 with a top-ranked schedule in Division 8 is really hard. Every week is a grind. The CAC is a grind. Lynn Tech is one of the best teams out there. We know we're going to get a tough game at Manning. You can't say enough about all the teams in the CAC and the teams that we played so far. So to be 4-3 is a huge place where we want to be right now. We're really excited going forward.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir.
Coach, that was one impressive all-around football game from your team. Especially defensively, you guys really slowed them down. How were you guys able to do that?
Yeah, we said this was going to be a toughness week, all week. That team is big, they're strong, they're tough. They've been moving teams around for the last 6 weeks. And we said, we have to dominate up front. We have to match their toughness up front, and I think we did. For most of the game, there was a couple times they got away from us, they pushed us around, but we put it in there right back at them for 4 quarters today. And the defensive line, the linebackers really stepped up their game to slow that team down. I'm so proud of the front seven.
Offensively, the first possession, it was a 3-and-out, but it seemed like after that, it really got going. I think Mornell kicked it off at that punt return, and then after that, he made some big catches, and then the offense was rolling out with that. Is Chanel playing the best at that? His best right now at the quarterback position?
I think he's really starting to come into his own. As a first-year quarterback, he stepped up into a role that we didn't think he'd be in this year. We had, a couple young guys go down early that we thought were going to be the guys, and he stepped into that role. And it takes a few weeks to really learn the spot, both running the ball and throwing the ball. And like I said, we now have a balanced tackle where he can run and he can throw, and we have some weapons where he can throw to again. So I'm really comfortable with him making great decisions. Obviously, you saw today a couple touchdown tosses today, a couple big throws for him today, and he used his feet. So he's a kid that's really coming to his own, and I think moving towards the playoffs, he's a guy we have to count on and we can't count on.
Definitely. And lastly, you guys accomplished one goal, getting that conference championship for the regular season. Just how happy are you for your guys that they were able to come into a hyped game like this, and they were able to just focus and not let any outside noise distract it, and for them to capture this title with what you guys lost last year, and some of the people not believing in this team.
Yeah, we still have to take care of Manchester to make sure it's not a tri-championship and things like that. But this is we told our kids this is really one of the biggest, if not the biggest, regular season games that we've had in a long time, because it was for a league title, because it put us in the driver's seat for the league title. So real proud of the guys for responding. We played, I think, our best football game this year, because this team was really good. That we played against tonight in Whittier, and well coached. Coach Bradley's been around for a while. He's got those guys rolling. So I think it was our best all-around game, and we showed up when we needed to the most. And I think that's going to be something that we can look forward to as we move on to bigger games in the playoffs.
Congratulations on the win.
Thanks as always.
You guys took away one of their bread and butter, and that's their running game. They couldn't get much going in the running game. How was your defense able to get them out of that rhythm of the running game?
We're a physical group. I thought the line of scrimmage, that's what it is. It's the trenches, and we work really hard on it, and our kids are tough. And we worked on that package all week. We know they love that package, and they couldn't run the ball consistently out of it. So it took them out of what they wanted to do.
All right, and lastly, just a little note. You guys ended their 27-game in-state winning streak, and you guys were the last team to beat them. Just how good does it feel for those guys, for your young guys, just to be able to do something like that?
I don't even know if they realize what they did, Mook, to be honest. They've been on such a great run. They're a great program, and they've won so much. But we're pretty good too. We've had a pretty good run, and we expected to win the game. We always do when we come into any game we play against any opponent. We have tremendous respect for them and their staff and their kids, but we expected to win, and I thought our kids played like it.
All right, man, you guys got it going offensively. You yourself got it going as well. What was working for you?
It's a beautiful thing being able to come out here and play with all my boys, all my seniors. There's a ton of us out here. I mean, it's just a grind, and it's beautiful to come out here and play with kids that I've been growing up. Well, that I've been playing with since I've been growing up, and it's just amazing to come out here and play in the rain, have fun with my boys, and just grind.
Well, defensively, what can you say about your defense? You guys, I mean, they did have a better second half than first half, but you guys buckled down late in that fourth quarter as they try to make it a one-score game. What can you say about the defense?
It's a momentum thing. Like, you know, we all got to lock in towards the end of the game. Big plays like that, it's key. You need to lock in and just be all together and just know your role and play.
You guys still have a lot to play for with one regular season game coming up. Just how do you like the focus of this team as it gets to that stretch of the season? We're at that point of the season where each game counts and you guys have to play your best.
As these games go on, they got harder and harder. We're sore, we're hurt. It's just a grind at this point, but we just got to push through and win these games.
All right, man. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much.
Cam, Dylan went out in that first half. You stepped in. You had that big run to give you guys that 2-score lead, and you guys never looked back. First, walk me through that big run.
Yeah, so, I mean, definitely was unexpected that Dylan came out. It's really unfortunate, but we got a bunch of guys that will help us back up. I knew I had one job, just get into the end zone, and so that's just what I set my mind to, and I was able to break out that long run.
You had a lot of big runs in this game. Is that just like you guys, the offensive line, is just how you guys been playing all year, just physically, and you making little runs, and then boom, there goes that big one that you need?
Yeah, exactly. Up front, we're really strong. CM, their defensive line is really big, but we knew that we just had to hit them harder, and they were able to open up those holes for me to run through.
All right, you guys were the last team to beat them 4 years ago. How does it feel just because you guys went out there last year, played a really good game? How does it feel just the hard work that you guys have been putting in is starting to play off, and it's also starting to show at the point of the season when you guys are approaching the playoffs?
Yeah, so definitely a lot of people are unexpecting us to win, but us. We knew what we were practicing for and how important this game was. Let's hopefully put a little more respect on our name and that a lot of people really know what we're capable of doing.
All right, and you guys, how do you not let this get a letdown? You guys got to get ready for next week after you celebrate this. How do you not let this game get you guys out of focus for next week's game to close out the regular season?
Yeah, like Coach said, it's always just another game in October. Obviously, it's an important one, but we got to keep on working forward and keep on practicing hard and on to the next game.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All right, fellas, this was a big one for you guys to get that regular season conference title. Seemed like you guys really were focused on defense. They really couldn't get much going. How were you guys just able to slow them down?
I mean, all week in practice, like, we had a scheme and posted up the scheme and we just executed it. Like, every single day at practice, we just focused on what we're doing wrong and then we just kept improving.
Yeah, Mornell capitalized on it. Sincata, our defensive coach, he put us in the positions that we needed to be to stop them, and we did what we had to do.
Chanel, you had a good day throwing the ball. I believe 3 touchdowns, finding different receivers. I mean, after that first drive, what got the offense going? Because that first drive, you guys had the 3 and out. It seemed like right after that, you guys really got in sync.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a trend. We start slow and then we pick it up. But I told them right after that half, I was like, let's pick it up right here. Let's not wait for the second half. Let's just pick it up right here, and that's what they did.
And more now, you put on a show, starting off with that punt return. Then you got another touchdown, almost had another punt return. I mean, was it just one of those days for you today?
I mean, I expect this like every game, if not more. Like, to be honest, I wanted 4 today, but I'm fine with what I got today.
And how do you feel? You guys got the regular season. You got this one out the way. How do you feel you guys are playing right now going into, you guys got the season finale next week and then the postseason coming up?
I mean, I can't really say nothing about the postseason. It's gone. Now we got to focus on what we have ahead of us.
Postseason is playoffs.
I mean, playoffs, my fault. Preseason, my fault. But yeah.
Lastly, last year's team was so much different than this year's team as far as like explosiveness. You guys have had a whole bunch of playmakers. But this year's team, I feel like there's not that many playmakers, but I feel like you guys are more in sync and more like together offensively and knowing your roles and stuff like that. Is that like a fair assessment to make? Is that a fair assessment? Like this year's team is more in sync offensively?
Yeah, for sure. Like last year, you know, we started off slow. We started off with a 2-4 record. But this year, we knew we had to like start from the beginning if we wanted to get where we wanted to get. So the whole offseason, we took it serious, and every single thing we did it together. And then that's where our teamwork came from.
All right, man. Congratulations on the win. Go celebrate. All right, and we are back. Yeah. All right. You know, remember how we had that segment last week when we talked about that nonsense page? And you know how Stevie was saying, like, how we was laughing, but Stevie was saying it's serious. Yeah. It's not serious, but it's serious. Yeah. He just brought up a good point right there. You see why I was laughing? Yeah. Because there's more people that been showing love than that one person. Bro, so you know when this is a message to all the kids. When you feel like somebody's just like trying to hate on you or whatever, remember there's more love than hate that's gonna come your way. So you just gotta laugh it off.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And just growing up in this city, man, you know, some of y'all, it's kind of how it is, man. You know, some people don't get their way. They'll know how to handle it. Yeah. And, you know, hopefully, you know, as the days go by, we all mature as people because we're all going to grow older anyway. So, you know, just, you know, hope everybody matures in the next couple months, man. We can move on. Because there should be no issues with a man trying to support the community. Granted, you might be on the negative end of a play or the positive end of a play, but at the end of the day, you still going to get the same Mook and the same me just because that we support everybody from the city. So we might talk trash from certain parts of the city and all that, but that's just because this is Lynn. That's just how we are. But no, it's all love. And also, at the end of the day, it's not that serious. Nah. It's never that serious. It's a game. And if you can't laugh at yourself, you're going to have a hard time in life. Then this is facts. This is big facts. Highlights. We got Lynn Classical, Revere, Neshoba versus Lynn Tech, Kip Academy versus Whittier Tech, Catholic Memorial, St. John's Prep. Check these highlights, and after that, it's the top 10 plays, and then we're going to come back and we're going to pick our game picks.
It's time for this week's top 10 plays from week number 7 of the high school football season. At number 10, Kip Academy quarterback Chanel Gutierrez threw 4 touchdown passes against Whittier Tech. Here's one of them to Andrew Gonzalez, who does the rest off a short pass. At number 9, it is Winthrop running back Nick Capuccio. He had 2 touchdowns on the day against Salem. Here's his first one as he takes the carry and he goes 52 yards to the end zone to tie the game up at 13. At number 8, we're back to Winthrop, and this time it is Robert Rich who's going to take the carry, and he's going to go up the middle, and he's going 51 yards to pay dirt for a Vikings touchdown. At number 7, once again, we are back to Winthrop versus Salem, and this time it's Salem defensive back Albert Pujols who picks off the pass, and he goes in for the pick 6 for Witch's touchdown. Number 6, we go to the Catholic Conference. Peter Bork of Catholic Memorial finds Isaiah Fables, who beats the St. John's Prep defender and then shows off the speed as he gets into the end zone. Winthrop handed Salem their first loss of the season with this play right here. Nick Capuccio out of the backfield. He's covered by no one down the sideline, and he goes 80 yards for the Vikings go-ahead touchdown. At number 4 is St. John's Prep running back Cam LaGrassa, who takes the carry and he goes up the middle and he's off for a 75-yard touchdown run. LaGrassa would finish with 254 yards rushing. At number 3, it's Peabody High's all-star, all-conference playmaker Eli Batista as he takes the punt and he makes a couple defenders miss, and once he gets to the sidelines there's no catching him and he goes about 56 yards for a Peabody touchdown. At number 2, it is Kip Academy's Mornell Castro, who had himself a day against Whittier Tech. Here's one of his 2 touchdowns. It comes in the first quarter, takes the punt, makes one guy miss, hits the corner, shows off the speed, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown Panthers. And at number 1, we have a well-executed hook and ladder, Chanel Gutierrez to Andrew Gonzalez, who tosses it back to Mornell Castro, and he does the rest. He's showing off the speed, gives him the peace sign. Kip wins it 36-16. We are back. I was going to talk about some other nonsense, but we ain't going to talk about that because them folks is weird. Youth football, some weird stuff.
Oh, you already said it. I don't understand that world.
Yeah, we ain't going to talk about the nonsense going on in Lynn with youth football right now.
There's always something.
always something, man. Always something.
You know what the problem is, though? People got to stop making it about themselves and just make it about the kids. I don't understand why youth football is always about something else, but the people we're supposed to cater to, the kids. I don't get it.
Me either. Adults ruin everything. Thursday night football, game picks. That could be a whole different segment. That could be a whole hour-long segment that we could talk about.
Be a different show.
Facts. All right, Thursday night football. We got Tampa Bay and we got Buffalo. This is in Buffalo.
I think the Bills gonna be all right.
Yeah, me too. Anytime a team that far south comes up north, it's never a good thing. Patriots are going down south to Miami.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Hopefully Mac can outplay Tua.
Just don't go out to them clubs Saturday night. Because they don't close. Them clubs don't close down there.
I don't think Mac going anywhere but the beach.
I ain't talking about Mac.
Yeah, I'm just worried about that man throwing that ball.
Right. Rams and Cowboys. Rams been like iffy.
Yeah, trust me, bro. I'm taking the boys.
Taking the boys?
Yeah, taking the boys.
I just know I can't pick Dallas. I'm gonna take the Rams. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Vikings Packers in Green Bay.
I'm going with Mr. Cousins. I'm going with Cousins? I'm going with the Vikings,
First
man.
Cousins.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm going with the Packers because this is what Kirk Cousins does. He'll have a couple games where he's like, oh, snap, okay, Kirk's balling. And then he just reverts back to being Kirk Cousins. Falcons and Titans, and I don't know who the Titans quarterback is going to be this game.
Then I just got to pick the Falcons in by default.
Yeah, same. I got to pick the Falcons by default, even though they were trying to lose that game last.
They're always trying to lose. They don't want to win.
Saints at Colts. Gardner Minshew is going to be the starter for the rest of the season for the Colts at quarterback. Richardson had season-ending shoulders.
You said Saints. Who's playing for the Saints? Who's quarterback for Saints right now?
Derek Carr.
I'm going with the Colts.
I agree. Same. I'm going with the Colts as well. Jets and Giants.
Oh, I'll go with the Jets.
Yeah, I'm going. You know what? Tyrod's been looking.
He's starting?
Yeah, I think he's starting again. Fact. You could change. But here's a fun fact. He's the first African-American quarterback to win a football game for the Giants in their history.
I'm going. You know what? I got to go with the Giants now after that stat.
Anybody's better than Daniel Jones, and Zach Wilson he's still quarterback of the Jets. So I'm going with the Giants.
Yeah. We got to go with it.
Jaguars, Steelers. This should be a good one, actually.
I'm going with the Jags, man.
Going with the Jags?
They've been rolling.
Yeah, I'm going with the Jags as well. Trevor Lawrence is starting to come in his own.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles and Commanders.
Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles. Washington just, I don't know. Texans against the 0-6 Panthers in Carolina.
You know what? I'm going with the Texans.
Going with the Texans. Rookie quarterback versus rookie quarterback, but I'm going to go with the consistent rookie quarterback. I'm going to go with Houston. Browns at Seahawks.
I'm going with the Browns.
I'm going with Seattle. They're at home, so that's the only reason I'm taking them. Chiefs visiting Denver.
Serious? I'm going with the Chiefs.
Same. I'm going with the Chiefs as well. Ravens, Cardinals. This is in Arizona. I need to get back out to Arizona. I love that place.
You know what? I'm going to give Ravens a go. Yep. Go with the Ravens. Man.
I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. Maybe this might be a breakout Odell Beckham game.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Bengals, 49ers. Ooh.
Is Debo going to be back?
I don't think so.
Go with the Bengals.
Go with the Bengals. I'm going to go with San Fran at home, just because they're at home. But I need my fantasy points. Jamar Chase. Bears, Chargers, Sunday Night Football, They need to switch that with the Bengals and 49ers.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with the Bears, man.
As I said, the Chargers are a weird team, so I'm going to go with the Bears. And then Monday Night Football, we got the Raiders and the Lions in Detroit.
Going with the Lions, man.
Same, I am going with the Lions as well. All right, thank y'all for watching. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, LCTV After the Whistle. Go to lintv.org for all that good stuff. You know, we got everything. We got highlights. We got interviews. We got all that stuff. Make sure you check us out. Check him out, Mr. Burton23 on
acronyms.
You
can't even see it.
You won't be here next Wednesday, right?
Nah, I will not be here.
Where you out to?
Mexico. Acapulco.
Oh, snap.
Ain't gonna be no partying.
Don't drink the water. Also, a big shout out to our guy Pedro. He makes this show go.
There you go, Raiden. I called you Peyton.
Acapulco.